Number 2 here, friends. This is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard for some Jesse Puljujarvi trade talk, and officially official. The Edmonton Oilers have traded Jesse Puljujarvi to the Carolina Hurricanes for a player that is in the Liga, which means it is a clear and free cap dump for our Edmonton Oilers here on the Carolina Hurricanes dime. Jesse Puljujarvi joins his buddy Sebastian Aho in Carolina. But that's where we get things rocking and rolling here today, friends, as it's just one of those things. Finally, Ken Holland has woke up and made a move, and this move long overdue, about 3 years overdue. Troy, it's that trade cap space that we needed, and yes, the Oilers have somewhere north of $4 million in cap space now available to them, entering the final days prior to the trade deadline situation coming to an end on Friday. And the best part is, just so as you're tuning in here at home after this video's gone live, this is more of a reaction recap video as opposed to a actual news video. I won't have stats, I won't have a full breakdown on the player that we've acquired from Carolina. I know he's in the Liga, I know that he's a young guy, 22 years old, kind of a fresh start for him as well, coming into Edmonton here hopefully next year, but that's just kind of where we're at right now. But as it comes down to it, the Oilers have $4 million in trade deadline cap available. That's where I can see the debate happening in the chat here. Is it's daily cap hit available versus cap hit available, and the Oilers are somewhere north of $4.2 million at current. So that's where we're sitting. Things are looking good going into this trade deadline because Ken Holland has finally woke up and made that trade deadline move, pre-trade deadline move, you might add, that was definitely needed for this team to be able to make some additions. So Jesse Puljujarvi, at long last, no longer a member of the Edmonton Oilers. The only real question left to answer, what do I do with that Jesse Puljujarvi jersey on the wall in the studio? Well, you'll find out tonight what we try and figure out. But as it comes down to it, in terms of what the Oilers' next move is, you've got that $4.2 million in cap space, so you're looking at potentially now being able to reasonably add a guy like Jakob Chychrun or a guy like Mattias Ekholm, right? Reasonably, you can add those two players without too much difficulty against your cap this season. And secondary for the Oilers, you can probably also add a second piece if you can somehow find a little bit of retention in there and give up a piece like a Warren Foegele or a Kyler Yamamoto, right? As Nick Bukestad, for example, from Arizona. From Nashville, I'm not exactly sure what else you could add on their roster, onto our roster, in terms of getting improvement numbers, but it's able to really start and get things done for the Oilers in terms of general manager Ken Holland's job being that much easier at this point. Sorry, I gotta shut off my wipers. They are just blitzing here and irritating the heck out of me, and I keep wondering what the heck that sound is every time they wipe. But as it comes down to it, friends, right now for the Oilers, it's a big day because now we are free to do what we have to do. Jesse Puljujarvi, though, this is finally, we have some certainty on what's going to happen here, and it's happened and it's over, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Now we just have to worry about Jesse Puljujarvi torching the NHL and having a great rest of the season. Does that seem likely? I doubt it. Do the Carolina Hurricanes put him with Aho and somehow he puts up 20 points the rest of the way home? Possibly, but here's the thing: we didn't have the players that were going to make Jesse Puljujarvi a successful player, unfortunately, and that's kind of where we sit in this realm. We take the loss, but we take a big time victory, getting $3 million of cap space 3 days before the NHL trade deadline. And obviously, too, as everybody's starting to point out in the chat here, if I can just bring that up, let's go live chat, please. Everybody's starting to talk about bringing in a big guy to really be an addition to this team. So here's the thing: Erik Karlsson seems like it's a very unlikely trade to happen. It seems like it won't be a thing that comes together for the Oilers at all at this trade deadline, unfortunately, because Mike Grier has yet to have that conversation and nothing has ever actually really gotten that close, apparently. But when it comes down to it for the Oilers, is now you can revisit San Jose for Erik Karlsson. Mattias Ekholm is fully on the table for the Edmonton Oilers right now, and secondary to that, you've got a situation too for the Oilers where a guy like Jakob Chychrun is free and clear, no questions asked. You can go out and get him, no problemo, right here, right now, if you're the Edmonton Oilers in the next 3 days. So there's a lot of positives for the Oilers right now in terms of creating this $3 million in cap space. And you didn't get a total nothing return for Jesse Puljujarvi. We did get something. And if you look at the kid's stats coming back from Carolina, he's actually been torching up the league, not too bad at all. So hey, you know what, we trashed the league quite a few years ago here on Dolynny TV, but apparently it's a league that's worth a dang. So if you want to read into those numbers, feel free to. He looks like a great young player, and obviously too, Carolina, I believe, was trying to move on from him. So the Oilers did some good work, got a reclamation project for their reclamation project. So that's a good benefit now for the Oilers. And again, for those of you just joining in here, if you're asking me what to do with your Jesse Puljujarvi jersey, what am I doing with my Jesse Puljujarvi jersey? That's kind of the problem. They're now a piece of history in terms of the Edmonton Oilers franchise, and that's unfortunate, because I think I would love to see Jesse Puljujarvi pan out in Edmonton, but whether you want to say it's Mark Spector and his crew running him out, it's the fans running him out, or the coaching staff just not giving him an opportunity to play as the player he needed to be, that's all fine and dandy, but it's no longer a question. Jesse Puljujarvi is no longer a member of the Edmonton Oilers. And Troy, to your point too here, sorry, I'm just seeing a couple of chats pop up, they disappear really quick, but what about Colton Parayko, another player that's now fully on the board for the Edmonton Oilers, should the Oilers want to explore the big time market for trade defensemen? And when you think about it, right, Parayko, Karlsson, Ekholm, Chychrun, we are on a ton of players now because we have the cap space, right? All you have to do is give up someone else and make it work. And I think now, if you're giving up somebody else, right, yes, Puljujarvi's gone, you've got a contract spot, you've got a whole bunch of things together for the Oilers, which means you can give up a roster player, get a roster player back, and get that defenseman. There's a ton of opportunity now. That first round pick for the Oilers has so much more tremendous value now, it's not even funny. So that's where it all comes together for the Oilers. It's really huge to kind of see that the options have legitimately just opened up. The fact of the matter is, we all expected Jesse Puljujarvi was going to be in a trade to make a trade work. Instead, we cap dump him, which is something that I did not expect Ken Holland to do, and he cap dumps him, and now all of a sudden the options are just wide open, right? Every guy on the defensive end, even Gavrikov, who, my goodness, if we acquire Gavrikov after making this good of a move, I'm going to be very upset. But even a guy like Gavrikov is available to us in terms of the trade deadline for free, right? Cap space, not a problem at all for the Edmonton Oilers now because of cap dumping Jesse Puljujarvi to the Carolina Hurricanes. I see a ton of people just joining us. I imagine you're just getting on your lunch breaks now, or you're just tuning in during your lunch breaks. Welcome to Dolynny TV. I'm Tyson. Thanks so much for being here. If you're new to the channel, before I really head out, I never said it at the start of the video, and that's my mistake. If you're new, I'd love to have you hit that subscribe button just to stay up to date for everything trade deadline. You'll see a lot more live trade deadline stuff on Friday. I can promise you that. But the dream scenario, friends, up some really good questions, so I'm just keep answering those ones, unfortunately. But let me go back to it here. If I can just find how to get the live chat back up, I can't. But the dream scenario for the Oilers now is you add one of the big four, if you want to add Parayko in there, to the blue line, right? You add a Chychrun, you add a Ekholm, you add a Karlsson, or you add a Parayko. You make a big move. You don't, I like that answer too, Gillies, win the cup, but you got to go out there and you got to move. You got to go out there and make a difference in this trade market, and I think the Oilers have the tools to do that now. I think the big thing is, if you get a big defenseman, you also need a big roster player, right? You just gave up a part of your depth. Obviously, you'll have some flexibility now that you're not as tight up against the cap, but the situation is for the Oilers that they've got to find a way to bolden the roster, both on the back end and the front end right now, and just find a way to make it happen. Because you can't take away a player that's 6 foot, whatever the heck Jesse Puljujarvi was, 6'4", I believe, and insert Devon Shore in the lineup and expect that to be good enough right now. And it appears that Ken Holland is about to do a media availability, so I am going to I'm going to head on out. But friends, thank you so much for tuning in live. This is my lunch break, so I've got about another 15 minutes. So I'll catch Ken Holland's press conference so as I can figure that out, and then we'll talk to you in a little bit. But I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much. I am up on out of here.